Hey guys, it's Bradley. Welcome back to my channel, Portly Gentleman. It's great to have you here with me here today. Today's video is all about a vacuum chamber sealer, a vacuum sealer. It's a chamber vacuum sealer. That's what I'm trying to say. If it's your first time here, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. It really does tend to help the video and help my channel. I really appreciate it. So the company that makes this Vevor, full disclosure, reached out to me about a month ago and said, Bradley, we'd like you to review a product. You can pick any product you want from our website. Anything you want, we'll send it to you and make a video if you like it and let your audience know what you think. So that's what I'm doing. They have no editorial oversight in this. I'm also not getting paid for this video. There will be links below for the vacuum sealer. It is on sale right now, so check below if you're into that. Honestly, it's been a really good product. Every time I've used it, it's done what it's supposed to do. So let's get into the video and I'll run you through the specs and its operation. Research it, mash it, boil it, ferment it, drink it, analyze it, share it. Home brewing is good. All right, now this unit is seriously robust. Fully stainless steel construction. I couldn't find anything that wasn't stainless on it. The front of it has buttons and everything you need to control it. That we'll get to later in the video. It has a vacuum gauge. The lid itself has gas-assisted struts, so when it's done, it pops right open. Inside of the chamber area itself is quite cavernous and large. It also has the heat sealer mechanism, as well as a little thing to help you hold down a vacuum bag, which I'll show you in a moment. This little shelf, if you will, can be taken in or out. It's especially useful if you are looking to seal any sort of a liquid-filled bag, and there's that helper kind of arm I was telling you about just a moment ago. This arm here is used for holding the lid down when not in use. The system has an incredible amount of power. It actually seals really quickly. You wonder where this power comes from. Well, the power inputs here on the side. There is an AC input as well as an on-off breaker. Super convenient stuff. The real muscle of the system is inside this back cover. Once you get this cover off, it's held in place by 4 screws. You are greeted with extremely tidy wiring and everything is put together in a very nice professional manner. Inside of here is an absolutely massive vacuum pump and some vacuum plumbing and some relays and circuit timers and stuff like that. But this vacuum pump is huge. It accounts for a large part of this vacuum sealer's nearly 45-pound weight. It's got a polycarbonate or acrylic lid, super heavy duty, really nice and well machined. These hinges are really robust. I think they'll last for a long time. I wanted to highlight the detail of this seal here that is built into the lid. This is kind of what makes it all happen. You'll see me in the further just kind of hold it down and get a good seal, and this really does seal to the stainless steel flange, and it's just machined really nicely and thought out very well. Now, a chamber vacuum isn't like your regular over-the-counter vacuum sealer. This thing actually completely vacuums the entire chamber, and that's how you get this really thorough kind of vacuum seal. It's just epic. On the front, there's a vacuum time. This is useful to adjust up and down if you're doing wet or solid items. A seal time, that's how long the seal kind of seals for. The cool down time is how long the seal cools down before the vacuum is released. And there's a dual seal and a single seal. The dual seal does nothing on this model, and there's an emergency off. Here we're gonna run through a seal in very nearly real time. This might be a good time if you thought about commenting or subscribing to my channel. It really helps me out. So you can see it counting down. It's pulling that vacuum. You can hear it change sound. That's when you know you have a good, deep, and solid vacuum. Really hear it pulling the vacuum. In just a second here, it will begin to seal. The seal timer goes 2 seconds, and then it cools down for 3 seconds, and then it releases pressure. Once pressure releases, the lid, once a vacuum is released, automatically just opens up. All right, if you didn't know, I absolutely have fallen in love with gardening. These are some of my heirloom tomatoes, and I don't want them to go to waste. I have more tomatoes than I know what to do with. They're super moist and a lot of liquid in these guys. They're just beautiful, but I'm gonna make a big batch of sauce all at once. So for now, I'm going to use this to vacuum seal them and freeze them. That way they stay fresh as long as possible. So in this instance, I'm just gonna cut up the tomatoes into good sized chunks, do the best I can to pull all of the caps off of them and make sure that they're somewhat uniform so I can maximize the space in the bags. There they are, all nice and cut up. I should also mention this time, you don't have to use traditional vacuum sealer bags. I just am because that's what I have available to me. There's all my tomatoes ready to get sealed. The tomatoes are a good one to really highlight how good this chamber style vacuum sealer does with liquids. As you can see it pulling this vacuum lower and lower, you see the bubbles happening. That's air coming out of the tomatoes. And it's really interesting as they almost, it looks like they're boiling. Obviously they aren't. It's just all the air coming out of this. And I'm not slowing this down because I do want everyone to know, you guys, to see how long this takes, whether you're sealing tomatoes, hops, brewing grain. You could probably vacuum seal wort. That's kind of interesting. And then maybe pasteurize it or boil it. There's things that can be done. But you know, if you want to pull double duty with this device and have a good excuse to get something like this for the brewery and for home use, this will be it. And there it is, that super tight vacuum seal. Look at those tomatoes. They are just going to be beautiful. Here it is pulling a vacuum, just really sped up. I'm showing it again because it's just so awesome to see this thing work. It's the coolest thing. Maybe I'm a giant kid. And I'm almost done with the tomato vacuuming. It's so satisfying and just the coolest thing ever, honestly. Here's a close-up of the quality of the seal, and a good seal means you know it's not going to leak no matter what you're doing. Here's just a small portion of the tomatoes that I vacuum packed and froze. I might actually just wind up sous videing these guys, or who knows what I'll do with them, but they're going to last for a long time. One of the other cool features, like I mentioned about a chamber vacuum sealer, is you can use or reuse vacuum sealer bags you may have gotten elsewhere. These are hops that I've actually reused this bag now a couple of times, and it's just the bulk bag that they came in. Sealing them back up in this with that seal lets you know, as long as you freeze them, obviously, they are going to stay fresh as long as possible. This one just gives you a good look of what it's going to look like once they're sealed, and these things are like a brick. It's just like they came from the factory. A little more fun, here's some bulk hops that I broke down into a different size bag, and it's super pleasing to be able to see the seal again. Again, guys, I'm like a man-child, a kid at heart, and this is just the coolest thing, just watching that go in your living room, in your brewery, in your garage, wherever you keep this thing. It's just epic, and the seal is impeccable. Freshness and quality. Honestly, this is the best and most extreme method I think I can take to preserve my ingredients. Obviously, if you knew we were going to vacuum seal hops and even tomatoes, it does wonders on grain, sucks out all the oxygen so it doesn't go stale, or at least it'll buy you a little bit more time. I actually bought 5 pounds of chocolate malt when I only needed about a pound, so you better believe I'm going to seal this vacuum tight and hopefully it stores as long as possible. Alright guys, well this is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you checking out this Vevor vacuum packer. Again, I really am thrilled to have this thing in the brewery. If you guys are interested in checking one out, there will be links below where you can get one today from Amazon or directly from Vevor. Again, thank you so much. Remember, home brewing is good. I'll see you real soon. Goodbye.